Hello YouTube, how y'all doing? We're back for another one. Welcome back to the channel. First and foremost, what do we got for you today? Well, today is What Did You Buy Wednesday, hosted by Big Joe or the Big Sky Model Workshop. Joe's a great friend. He's also one of my co-hosts on the AMC Livecast. We have a ton of fun with that. So go over there and check out the AMC Livecast on Thursdays, 8 Eastern Time, 7 Central. And then go over and check out Joe's channel, the Big Sky Model Workshop. I'm sure many of you have already been over there. Great channel. Joe does a really good job with telling you the storylines of why he builds what he builds. That is definitely something that some of us are really good at and some of us are just terrible at. And that's something that I need to improve upon myself. That's a big thing that I take away from Joe and a few others that are really good at telling you the story and the theme of what they're thinking when they are in a build. So that's really, really cool. But for today, anyhow, this is all about, as Joe says, the stash ads. What did you buy? What are you looking to do? It helps share what other products are out there in the community, and some people might not be aware of some of that stuff. So this one is definitely going to be one of them. We're tooling up. I'm a firm believer in having good tools to do some of the stuff. Granted, this is not about how much money you can spend in this hobby, but after a while you just find that this would make things easier. So for me anyhow, I'm all about using my time efficiently, organization, and then getting tools to do things quickly so that I can repeat. So that's what I like to do. At this stage of my life, I've done everything the hard way. And when you get to be my age, it's about working smarter, not harder. And these tools are definitely going to do that. So we're going to flip this around. I'm going to show you what we picked up. Excuse me. All right, as you can see here, and probably in the thumbnail, we've got us a bunch of display stuff. Some of these are spares, and some of them I want to put into play immediately. So I'm a firm believer in having spares, being I'm up here. If I break something, I don't like waiting. So I got this is the little sanding block. These are aluminum, so they're pretty flat. I like these. These things work out really well, so I grabbed a spare one in case I want to modify it. This is the little pencil Dremel here. This is really handy, so we're going to put that into play. This here is the sander. They already have one of these, but I want two. Actually, I want three, but I figured let's start with two. That way there we can have one with a certain tip that is kind of my favorite tip, and then one that I just constantly change the different tips. If you've seen any of the videos out there, I know Chuck at Chuck's Hobby Spot just did a great video on this tool and all the pieces that are on that tool. So I'll go over there and check out his video. It's a really good tool. This here is the display. It is the little bit holder pin vise. Really cool. The end floats on a bearing. Really comes in handy. We've used those a lot, so that one's actually for Josh. So being that we've been building and my son's been coming out here, we needed more tools. So we got some more sanders. These are really nice. These are the foam sanders, so those are spares. This as well as spares. This is the sandpaper with the plastic anvils. Here's a better picture right there. That's what you get in the kit. So this here is also spares. We're going through some of this stuff. The more people are out here, the faster you're going through it. So I just want to have spares so that when you're in a build, we've got it here. At the end of the day, we've been participating in these 24-hour, these 48-hour, 72-hour type builds, so it's good to have some spare products on hand. And then this one here is the sander. You put sandpaper on the block, and the block slides here, and then you can change your angles and your degrees of what you're trying to sand, what type of angle you're trying to sand in your part. So it's kind of a fixture jig, which I have one of these already, but I wanted two. And then same with this. This here is the cutter. This thing works really, really well. There's a picture of it. You got to be very careful of that blade. That blade is very sharp. But I found that I've used this cutter for RC stuff as well. And it's a pain in the butt to then clean the oil off. You don't want oil on your model parts. So this one's for RC. So we're going to have this in the RC section, and I might even put this in the RC section too, being that it's a spare. So, but yep, that's going to do it. We're gonna build an organizer. Let me flip this around. All right, so I had to break this video up because not only did I receive that stuff there that I just showed you in the first half of this video, I did order a new tool that they just put on the market here not that long ago, and it showed up as well. I was going to save this for later on. I didn't think it would get here this quick, especially with the holidays. But this sander here, which has been a really good sander, and you see in the video that I've got two of these things so that I don't flip the tips around. But they released a pro version of that sander now. So we're gonna flip this camera around and we're gonna show you an open box review on this. And they've also released another batch of sandpapers for these sanders. So we'll open this up as well. So let me set this up, flip this around, and we'll get right into it. Be right back, everybody. Alrighty, so let's get this guy cut open here. Kind of itching to see what this one's all about. Like I said, they've got this listed as their pro version. Right there, ESA Pro, reciprocating sander versus the other one. The other one's a great tool. And then I think that would be why, because this one I think is supposed to be gray. Yeah, even the case is gray too, where the other one, the case is red. But other than that, the box is pretty much the same. Oh yeah, there we go. The other one is a red case. Same case. Very cool though. So they've got like a gunmetal gray. You get your charge cord here. Here's the actual tool. You get all of these ends. These ends look to be the same as the other one. This case is definitely different as far as how they've organized them, but here is the new sandpaper. If we can get it out, it's in there pretty good. Of course, you get your stickers to put what grit you've got on the tip. But here's the new sandpapers right here for these things. And of course, if you have the files, Display is really big on color coding all their grits. So the blue is the 1200, and you can see right there that this sandpaper is it's about a 1/16 thick and it's foam, or it's like a neoprene rubber or something, but it's got some flexibility, some squish in there, versus this one here, the sander The sandpapers that are available for it are all just sandpaper that you're putting right on the plastic, so you got no forgiveness in that. Not saying you couldn't use these on this. I'm sure you can. They're releasing it that way. They're giving you all the different grits. There's definitely less sanding with this format versus the paper. I'm sure this is a lot more expensive to produce. And I kind of figured that was going to be the thing when I was reading up on this. So we bought an extra box of this sandpaper as well. Obviously I don't need to open this box because it's just this in the box. I'm sure you can use this if you have this sander here as well. If you want that part number for the sandpaper, that is the sandpaper for these things. Now let's see if there's any difference. Like I said, I don't think there's going to be, other than the color. You know, it's got like this gunmetal gray. It's literally the same length. The display logo on this is very dark. It's kind of like a little bit of a sinister look on it. The cap is exactly the same. The texture is a little different. This is a lot smoother. This has got a little bit more of a rough texture. Not that that's ever been an issue, because these things are oval. They're not like perfect round sticks, so as you're working them, you can rotate them and have total control over this. Let's pop the cap off. Like I said, the cap is exactly the same. Everything is exactly the same. So the color is different, and then you get a different case, which is a different color. But the main difference here is going to be your pads. I looked at that, and this thing I ordered before the pads were available. Otherwise, I probably would have just ordered the pads. Then the more I thought about it, I thought, well, I'm going to probably end up with a third sander anyhow, so let's get the Pro. We can evaluate it on the channel. And then I've got one that's a different color, and I can designate the different color one for the soft pads versus the paper. Now, I'm not 100% sure if this sandpaper is going to be a lot different, because the other sandpaper that is for the red one, or comes with the red one, is the same black fine grit sandpaper that you see on their sanding sponges. And this sandpaper here is more like the strips of sandpaper that you get for their anvils. So I'm not 100% sure what the sanding ability of this stuff's going to be. You might not get as much life out of these as you do with the other sandpaper. Don't know. Definitely we will find out. We will definitely test that out. But like I said, you got to invest in your equipment, and your equipment doesn't mean you're going to be the world's best modeler, or your equipment's not going to make you the world's best modeler, but it definitely helps with some consistency and developing your skills. So I'm very intrigued to try this paper out. And like I said, you don't necessarily need to buy this Pro. The Pro, if you're into having different tools like I am, and you want to color designate separate from one to the other, you can do that. Other than that, I don't think it's necessarily any different. It's got the same speeds, same 3 speeds as the red one. It's up to you. You can get another one, and you want the sandpaper, then this is the best way to buy this thing, so that you have more anvils for that sandpaper, and you're not having to peel it off your other anvils. You get more life out of it. That's part of the other reason why I bought a third, so that I have more anvils to keep the paper on. So we'll designate all this stuff out to just for the cushion paper, and we will see if it's any better. I've definitely loved this tool. This tool has bailed me out in a lot of different modifications, especially doing the scratch building, and we will see what it's like. So on that note, we're going to flip this around, because I also said that my OCD kicked in, and we made a rack for all our display tools so that we have easy access. So let's flip this guy around, and we're going to show you what we created out of some acrylic. All right, so now we're over at the bench here, and what I've done is I built this shelf a little while ago, and I had these cool toolboxes that you can get from Harbor Freight. I think even Lowe's sells a box that size. Snap-on did too for a while. But what I've done here is I made a display center for all of the display tools that I showed you in this video. So we've created a little acrylic rack here and combined it with one of the toolboxes. And as you can see here, let me get this one out of the case. And very simple to make. We made it out of some acrylic, and we took some aluminum and we cut the aluminum. We drilled holes in it. We tapped it to put some screws in there, some threaded rod in there as well. So we cut this stuff out and made a base. We incorporated the toolbox. We've got our circle cutter, photo etch tool. We have some of these sanding arbors, the aluminum ones here that you can put the sandpaper, which we've got all the sandpaper hanging in the back there. We have the flat ones right here. These things come really in handy, especially when you're doing some serious modifications and you're trying to get some stuff back flat or keep some consistency. Then we've got the vise here, and in the drawers we've got bits, the sanding arbors for the sander. Like I said, there's just the paper. We have some more sanding. We got charge cables. We got some just spare stuff in here that we keep in the drawers. Down low here we've got the display chopper. That comes in really handy for doing a lot of like styrene work. We've got the sander here that you can sand whatever degree. That works really well. These are the foam pads in different grits, so we've got a nice home for them. This here is the plastic arbor set, kind of like these metal ones right here, but they're plastic, and then those come with the paper already. We've got a couple of our pin vices, and that's what some of the bits are for. And then we also have the scribers, and that's what some of the bits are for. And of course, you know, everybody knows me for liking Dremels and stuff. I have Dremels, but then I have these display pencil tools, Dremels. I love those as well. So now we've got everything right there accessible to easy work. So I take everything out of their nice cases, because you'll have just case after case just flutter in your bench or your drawers. Where this here, we've kind of 5S this thing, right? We've made this very simple, easy access. When I get the bench full of crap and a mess and I time to reset, then I can easily just put the stuff back in its proper holes. We've got everything marked, you know, for the holes are specific to the actual tool, and it works really well. Over here, if you're curious, this one here is where I keep some of my specialty wire pliers for bending up the wire, and brass, copper, whatever, stainless. Some of these pliers are shaped differently. We've got some other common pliers and cutters in there. And then of course up here we've got some Allen wrenches, precision ones. And then over here is kind of like another fabrication thing where we've got the wood style engravers and carvers. I use those for even on the styrene. I have my bender. We have more bits and stuff like that, some rulers. This bender come in real handy when we made this thing. I use that to bend all my my roll bars up, and then I've just got some spare files and sanders and some of the other style of spring tubing benders in here. But all this stuff is very accessible. I wanted this stuff to be very accessible, and when I got these toolboxes, they were a tremendous help, and these are very affordable. A lot of times you can get these things on sale for under 20 bucks. Really nice toolbox. Like I said, I've got quite a few of them here. We've got 3 of them here. I have 2 of them up by the RC car, and they work out extremely well. But I just wanted to make an acrylic stand here to extend off of that, and being I got such a weird shape bench and shelf here, it was easier for me to just make this than to try and have a toolbox. And you know what I'm saying, if I was to buy 2 of these. But this worked out really well. You can get acrylic really cheap. You can get that at your hardware stores. You can order it online. I ordered this stuff online. It usually shows up within 2 to 3 days, something like that. The aluminum you can get at the hobby shop. I've got that at my local hobby shop, and then just cut it and then drilled a hole in there, tapped it. Works really well. All you need to have is a jigsaw, a drill, and then and some heat. Once you get it all done, you can torch it with a torch, and then just burn the edges in. This isn't the spade, but this is my end driller for your tubing and stuff like that. That's really cool. So I just kind of slid that in there. Works out really well. That's where we had it. That works out really well, and it's red, so we'll blend it in. But pretty much that's all my display stuff, and it's all ready for action. So yeah, let's flip this around. Alrighty, so I think that's going to conclude this video. This is something that I've kind of collected these tools now for going on over a year and a half. I bought some of the first display tools almost 2 years ago. I bought one of the Dremels and one of the sanders, and then from there just really fell in love with the tools. I will say this, I buy the stuff directly from display. It's much cheaper, and it takes a little longer coming across the pond, but it's definitely worth the wait. Amazon's got some great prices on the stuff as well. There might be some other US market hobby shops that carry it. My hobby shops don't carry any of the display tools. They barely carry some of the Tamiya stuff. I still like my Tamiya engraver as well. The bits for these are extremely expensive though, so you break this, you're out 30 bucks pretty much. So the display ones are a lot more affordable, and that's why we bought them. So you know, you're paying 20 bucks for just this handle. You're paying like 30 bucks for the handle and like 5 sizes of bits. So that's a better value in my opinion. This, you're paying the $16-17 for the handle, and then $30 for whatever bit you want per bit. So a lot more money in this. Like I said, I like the Tamiya stuff too, but again, my hobby shops only carry little bits of the Tamiya tools. I'll be honest with you, the thing that threw me off from getting more Tamiya tools is I started to buy some better tweezers, and I bought some of these Tamiya tweezers. I like black, right? And oh my god, these things are horrible. So that was kind of it for me on the Tamiya tools. The costs, the availability was terrible, and the quality on those things were terrible. So at that point, I started looking elsewhere for tweezers, and then bought some online through a couple different sites, and then found them even cheaper on Amazon. So I always check Amazon for stuff and then go from there. But this has definitely been worth it. I wanted to invest some tools into what I'm doing. This doesn't mean this makes me a better model builder. I wanted to invest in my skill set, and that's what we've done here. And it's took some time to acquire all this stuff, and over the last year or so I kept acquiring, and then finally I was just like, okay, I need a little toolbox. Hence we bought the toolbox. Then we overflowed that toolbox, and I thought, man, if I could just have it to where the stuff's ready to go, like what we do at work with 5S, where I can just reach over, grab a Dremel, grab a sander, and have it all organized, that's even better. So that's where we decide to get creative and do the acrylic. It makes a mess. I'll throw in a couple snapshots here. It does make a mess, but anyhow, I'm gonna try and edit this video down, so there might be some breaks in there. Just kind of take out some of the ramblings of me, and then condense this down to where it's not super long, but it's still going to be long, unfortunately. So anyhow, this will be another what did you buy Wednesday, and showing you how I organize my tools to take care of them and have them on the ready. And then my mind doesn't wander. I get crazy ideas like this, and then I have to build it. So just as anyhow, thanks for watching this crap, and we'll see you on the next one. Enjoy the rest of your Christmas. We are a day away, so peace out, everybody. Have a happy Christmas Eve and a happy Christmas if I don't see you by then. Peace out.